hackathon. First of all, let us please respect each other on this platform. If you have any question to ask, kindly raise a hand using the function at the bottom panel of the call. And please mute at all times unless called upon to speak. For social media activity, please use the AquaTech Hack, the hashtag AquaTech Hack. And please do not turn on the video or share your screen. And also use the chat box on the right-hand panel of the call meeting to ask questions as well. Do not forget to DM me or Charlotte on Slack if you need any help regarding the hackathon. We look forward to having an amazing weekend full of great ideas and solutions. I'm now going to call upon Mr. Lucky to give us some background to the hackathon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liz, for that introduction, and good morning to everyone. What a day! We've been waiting for this day for a very long time, and I'm very delighted that today we can actually finally get to see the hackathon, unfold. It's actually very exciting to us and also to our partners, who really believe that we can leverage technology and we can leverage tools and solutions for challenges that our people are facing on the ground. Really, the primary objective of this hack is to look into how we can effectively address water, energy, and food security challenges with a specific focus on the Eastern Cape. As you may be aware that over the last couple of months, and also, the Eastern Cape has been on the news for issues relating to water, lack of water, and so forth. So we believe that as young people, we have solutions. And however, it is not only us as young people, but it's when we bring stakeholders together to understand that water is not only the job of government, but it's a job of every single stakeholder. Young people, entrepreneurs, academics, all of us need to come together. And I think the spirit of a hackathon really is about, bringing cross-sector partners together to come and explore solutions to the issues that are pressing in our time. And in our time, and I would like to highlight this, that in the past, as you know, that about 45 years ago, the youth of Soweto rose to the occasion to say we're going to address the issue of the apartheid system and the educational system that was inadequate and also unfair to them, and they stood up and actually tried to come up with solutions. And today, we are free, and as a result of the actions that they have taken. And ours today is that the kind of freedom fighting that we are doing is really the freedom fighting of addressing some of the pertinent issues of our society, which is issues around water security, energy security, climate security, and so forth. And knowing that water cuts across the different those different touch points, we then saw it fit to actually, together with our partners, Gig Culture, and many other partners who've joined suit, to come up with, to bring together stakeholders to initially start with a socio-technical debate, which had an objective to help us just understand the problem from the stakeholders' perspective, to say, according to the people who are closer to the problem, what are those problems and what is actually worth, solving first? Where do we need to start, and so forth? And we had a great socio-technical debate on Thursday, well attended. We had stakeholders from across the board attending to help us understand the issues and highlighting some of those issues that are critical for them. And of course, today really is the beginning part of that engagement, wherein you will be leveraging your skills, know-how, as well as the support of the mentors that will be part of this exercise to help come up with the solutions. And of course, we'll then close off the engagements, to tomorrow with a pitching some of those solutions to our partners. But the beauty about it is that the journey does not end here. Solutions that our stakeholders deem as these are addressing the issues that they've highlighted as priorities will then be taken into a 6-month mentorship-driven accelerator program, which will involve anything from training, coaching, mentoring, matchmaking, as well as funding as well that will be allocated to solutions to ensure that the solutions are implemented. And we are very delighted that in this call, we also have some of the stakeholders who will help in terms of creating opportunities for these solutions to be implemented on the ground in the Eastern Cape. I'm super excited about this engagement, and I'm super excited about what is going to come out of this process. And I know that we've got this undivided support of amazing people, including the Office of the Premier, our sponsors, the EWCTA. We've got also other stakeholders that have come really full on to ensure that they can take this engagement forward. I will not be able to mention everyone who is involved in making this possible, but I want to say to everyone that we are excited and we are delighted that as we celebrate this 45 years of commemorating this the 1976 Soweto uprising, that we can actually usher in a new generation of freedom fighters who will help us address the most important issues of our time. And with that, I want to say all the best to the teams, and we look forward to seeing the solutions as they unfold. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Lucky. And now Mr. Ashton Mpofu, who's the chair of Young Water Professionals South Africa, will give a bit of a recap of the socio-technical debate that was held on Thursday, and also explain about the problem statements that you'll be hacking about this weekend. Over to you, Mr. Mpofu. Okay, it seems we might be having some technical difficulties. I'll just go ahead and explain a bit more about the hackathon, and then we'll come back to Mr. Mpofu in a second. So this is the section we call What the Hack. It's just a little bit more about how the hackathon will work for anyone who maybe this is your first hackathon, and also I'll just run through the schedule as well. So first of all, today is day one. So we're currently in the opening ceremony, and then at the end of this ceremony, we will begin the hackathon officially, or it will open for hacking at 10 a.m. So from then, you can get into your teams and start ideating, start working. We'll be helping anyone who doesn't have a team yet to find team members. If you want them, you're welcome to enter as a solo team. And we'll also be helping matchmake the teams with mentors. So if you do have any questions or any specific areas you want guidance on, please do shout. There's a channel on Slack called Ask a Mentor. There's also a channel called Hackathon Support. So yeah, contact us there, contact myself or Lizette. We are here to help. And then at 2 p.m, we'll have a great masterclass session. So you can join again the Google Meet session, which you should have in your Google calendars. We'll also post the link in Slack. But the business clinic will be running a session on how to make a business model canvas, and also to make a really powerful presentation for the judges. So this will just be a great session to join to give you the best chance of success. Obviously, the solutions that we're looking to get from this hackathon are ones that we want to, see implemented and see having an impact on the ground. So making sure you have that business model in place is really important. Following that, we will ask you in the evening to submit a quick Google form, just to get a sense of who the teams are, what you're working on, and if you guys have any questions. And then again at midnight, there'll also be a midnight update form. This just helps us, make sure everyone's on track, you're all working within the scope. And if you guys need any specific help or you're facing any challenges, then we can just be aware and hop into your channels and help you. Okay, and then day 2, which is tomorrow, obviously everyone will be hacking away overnight. We'll have a few kind of mini challenges and spot prizes throughout the weekend to keep the energy up, give you the chance to win some data vouchers or some breakfast deliveries, that kind of thing. So keep an eye out for those. And then from kind of 12:30, you'll be able to submit your solutions. So we'll have another Google form. You guys can put, upload your demos and your screenshots to there. And then obviously be getting your presentations ready. And then from 2:30, we'll all join another big Google Meet call, which our panel of expert judges will be on the call as well. We will announce the names of those judges just now. And then you all have a chance to pitch to the judges. I'll explain how that works on the following slide, I think. Then the judges will deliberate, and then we will have our prize giving. So we will announce the final, the winning teams. Hopefully we will be done at 5 o'clock tomorrow, at which point you can all go get some well-deserved sleep. So then the judging criteria. This is really important to kind of familiarize yourself with. This is what the judges will be looking out for and scoring you against when you're pitching to them. So do keep these in mind. We'll also post this on Slack so you can reference it easily. So the first criterion is relevance to the problem statement, and that's got a weighting of 10 out of 50. So think about, they'll be thinking about how relevant your solution is to the problem statements, which Ashton will run through in just a second. So they'll be looking for evidence that you've considered the geographic context, which kind of communities you're hoping to support. So is that urban, peri-urban, rural? And just making sure that your solution is kind of really targeting the problem at hand. Then following that, we've got key value proposition. That's for another 10 points out of 50. And so we're looking here for your team's presentation to demonstrate how your solution distinctly offers value. Does your business model make sense? And is there potential for potential stakeholders or users to buy into it? So, for example, municipalities, will they be able to see that and think, yes, I can implement that on the ground? Next, we've got 5 points for innovation, and specifically what we're calling efficiency-oriented innovation. So is your solution solving the problem in a new or better way than what is already available? Then we have feasibility. So again, the winning solutions we're hoping will be implemented in the months following the hackathon. So do consider things like timeline, cost, infrastructure, availability of like supporting technologies that you might need to put your solution into place. Obviously we like moonshots, but it also needs to be something that can be put into place and to help people in a short term kind of timeline. Okay, and then sustainability, 10 points. So sustainability, obviously environmental, but also kind of social and economic. So does it have potential also to create employment, for example, or enterprise development opportunities for the local community? How do you see it kind of having a long-term future? And then finally, you've got 5 points for pitch. So do tune in to the Business Clinic's masterclass on this, being able to present your solution in a way that's really easy for the judges to understand within the time that you have to present, and it's kind of clear, and you cover all those points. That will also score you extra points in the judging. So again, we'll post these up on Slack. And then just to explain how the presentations will work, so we'll post the presentation order. It'll be alphabetical, so you'll have a rough idea where you'll be in the kind of in the finale. And then when it's your turn to present, please share your screen. So you'll have 6 minutes to share your screen and obviously unmute yourself and give your pitch to the panel. The judges will then have 4 minutes after that to ask you any questions about your presentation, maybe to clarify some of your points. And if you do run out of time, out of your 6 minutes allotted time, the judges will be allowed to give you some of their 4 minutes if you really want to just finish your slides. But that will be up to them, so don't count on that. And then, yeah, just a few tips for the hackathon. Again, please study the problem statements and judging criteria as you're ideating. So just make sure your solution is in scope to give yourself the best chance of winning. And also, make sure your presentation hits all those points in the judging criteria so that the judges have the best, chance to assess how well you've hit those criteria. When you're in your teams and you're brainstorming, our recommendation is to generate as many ideas as you can and then filter the ones that you think you can implement best in the time you have. Obviously, a hackathon, you've got about 30 hours for this one, so it's not the longest time. So just make sure, you're focusing on one that you think you can really make the most of in this time. Managing your time and your energy is important. And then a good way to do this is sharing tasks out within your team. If you've got team members, if you're one person, just maybe plan out your time a bit in advance. And then ask for help. So we have mentors and organizers. They'll be on Slack ready to help. And also your peers are there as well, so you could ask questions to them. Do use this opportunity to learn and to network with others. We've got a great range of people on the platform. In the participants, we've got people from all 9 provinces, coders, entrepreneurs, people with water and energy backgrounds. So take the chance to have a chat with everyone as well. Make sure you get some fresh air, stretch. It is a marathon, but take some rest, and most importantly, have fun. Okay, and then finally, just a few recommendations for remote working tools. Obviously, this is a virtual hackathon, so it's not as easy as if you're all in the room together with your team. So obviously, Slack will be key. That's where to look out for announcements, resources, and so on from us, the organizers. The mentors will also be on there. Trello is a great kind of productivity tool. If you haven't used that before, check it out. It's very easy to use. You can just kind of set up different boards for your projects and then kind of create cards for things you need to do. And it's a really good way to see all in one place what you need to do and what has been done. Then Google Workspace, so you've got Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Google Forms. We'll be putting out some Google Forms over the course of the weekend, and then Slides is obviously great for your final presentation. And again, the business clinic will run you through some more tips on creating those slides. And then Miro is a kind of whiteboard software, so you guys can all see the same whiteboard and do some brainstorming on there. If you guys haven't used these before and you want some help, then again, just shout. And then I will go back to Ashton, and hopefully he's now with us. Ashton, are you on the call?
Yes, good morning. I'm here, Charlotte.
Fantastic, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Charlotte. I'll have my video off for bandwidth purposes. Thank you so much for the wonderful breakdown of how the hackathon will work. My duty this morning is a simple one. I'm just here to give a summary of the different discussions that we had on Thursday during our social technical debate. So I'll just share my screen just to give more or less of a summary of the different things that were discussed in the 3 different breakaway sessions. Charlotte, if you could allow me maybe to share my PDF here. Okay, thank you. Just a sec. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Anyone to confirm? Charlotte, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Thank you. So I would like just to take you my solution providers. I'm so excited that today young people are going to become, part and parcel of the body of people that are going to provide solutions. I mean, we've been labeled as people that are always playing the ABC game. We said to be full of accusations, full of blames, and full of complaints. You're always playing the APC game. So you accuse, we blame, and we complain. But I'm happy that today we are part of a solution. And I've always said that we'll harness our youth power and provide solution to our communities. So looking at the water team, we had a number of discussions around providing access to, drinking water and sanitation. So that this falls part of SDG 6.1 and SDG 6.2. So there's still a number of people, our population, even within the Eastern Cape. You guys, I know you might have already know the numbers of how many people have got access to drinking water and how many people do not have access to sanitation. So that's the main and important part, that we need to find solutions that will bring water to our people, that will bring dignified sanitation. I will need to repeat that. We need to find solutions to provide dignified sanitation. So we are looking for sanitation systems that are with dignity, so that everybody can be happy to use such a sanitation system. And I must say that based on the discussions as well, we must ensure that that particular solution does harness the nexus, water, food and energy nexus. So we had our old man in the call the last time, Mr. Ben Fazwake, who had developed his NDLU. I mean, it does sit between water and energy, because we do use the briquettes, for energy purposes, and you can also use that fecal sludge or the ash after the briquettes for as a fertilizer in the fields. So we are looking for solutions that will provide access to water and sanitation. And secondly, we've got the issue of raw water quality. We know that our rivers are of poor quality in our days, due to our activities as human beings as well. If you go around the Eastern Cape, I mean, you guys will know better that some of our rivers are in a poor ecological condition, and people cannot even use that water for drinking purposes, whether you boil it or you do whatsoever with that water, but still it's not of good quality. So we are looking for solutions as well that will provide, better quality drinking water from the municipalities and even from our ecological systems, So we are talking about our raw water quality. So we need to develop data-driven decision-making platform for local water engineers. And then there was a big issue that was presented by Mr. Stephen Nash. He presented about the importance of water efficiency. So he always say that this always remains the lowest hanging fruit, that everyone, I mean, it did highlight that everyone should be involved, beginning from the household user up to the municipality. Everyone, in the population has got a role to play when it comes to water use efficiency. You should use water efficiently in your own household. It was use water efficiently in a business and efficiently as well within the municipality. So he did highlight the issues of water leakages. He did highlight the issues of metering, inaccurate metering and billing. He did highlight issues of people stealing meters as well, or people bypassing the meters so that they can have access to water for free without paying. So it does have a big impact when it comes to the municipality in terms of revenue collection. People don't pay for water, and at the end of the day, your municipality owes the water board, who are the ones that provide water to the municipality. And we know that at the moment, I think we're sitting about more than 60 billion that is owed by municipalities across the country to water boards and even the National Department of Water and Sanitation. So we need to find solutions this weekend around improving our water efficiency use and ensuring that the leaking water that we have as a province will sustain us. It begins by you being very efficient in terms of using that water. And moving on as well to water-related ecosystems, there is an issue of unprecedented occurrences, natural disasters, the likes of floods and droughts. So these are water-related shocks. At the moment, the Eastern Cape, we know that is under drought. So we need to come up with solutions that would at least predict or model what might happen in the future so that we are ready for these situations. Of course, we have known that based on what have been taught by climatologists, we're a drought, stricken country, and we are water scarce, and this is going to happen in the future. But we need to know, when is the next drought going to happen, and what can we start doing beforehand? Is there going to be a flood? What should we do to the villagers? Should we move them? Should we do what? And all those things need to come to play. So we need data-driven and smart service platforms that will allow us to model or to predict, the occurrence of these droughts or floods. So that's it on the side of water. But the most important one, I think, that came from Amatole District through Mr. Stephen Nash was an issue of improving our water efficiency, reducing leaks, and ensuring that we don't lose water, but we use our water efficiently. So as I've said, I reiterate again that has to be across the value chain. Everybody has got a role to play in terms of using water efficiently. Moving on again, let's look into the energy. I was really impressed by their presentation the other day. They really showed that some energy behind their presentation. So good notice to say that within the Eastern Cape, there's been a number of renewable energy projects that the government has been spearheading within the province. And this is in line with the renewable energy generation. So we know that we have got a renewable independent power producer program that was put in place by the government. And recently we had an announcement that I think it has been increased to about 100 megawatts. So Eastern Cape does have the potential to play a huge role in terms of producing renewable energy and feeding into the national grid. So there, just on your screen, you can see the current, projects that are in place. But what you want to say, based on what we got from our energy team, was the fact that we need to ensure that we also continue to contribute in terms of producing renewable energy. So we know that if you go to PE, which is Gqeberha today, is referred to as the windy city. So there is a potential, to produce wind power and also small hydropower. And we're talking about even biomass to energy, which becomes waste to energy. So your waste from the food industry, as we go on to the food part now, does have a potential as well that to use the food waste to produce biofuels or to produce bioenergy. So that's one part. And we know about most of the natural gas that's been found offshore, but we need to really harness in terms of renewables. So there are a number of barriers or challenges within that space that was highlighted by the energy team. I think it was Malutsi. One of them is the fact that we need to promote SMMEs, these small or startups from young people, beginning to play a huge role in terms of producing energy. So therefore, there was an issue that at the moment there is sort of like a lack of support within that sector to promote, local generation or local production of solar panels and all these other components for producing electricity. So I don't know what solutions do you guys have as young people, but I will expect that as of today, as we end this hackathon, by tomorrow, we have a solution in terms of ensuring that we begin to tap and we begin to also be a solution provider in terms of solar, wind, or biofuels or bioenergy. So that was that component, and there was also a component of efficiency within the energy component as well. You need people to use energy efficiently. It same applies like water. You need people to begin to improve the energy efficiency across the whole value chain, be it from households up to the industries as well. We need to ensure that we use our energy efficiently. So there is, an opportunity for solutions, smart solutions that allow us to build people better and allow people to use electricity efficiently. So that's one component. We have got these management utilities that have been springing up across the energy value chain in the country that manage the utilities or manage your electricity within complexes or, within households. So there's also an opportunity, of course, to produce energy from gravity using your This is what you call small hydro. Even if you pump your water up the mountain, as it goes down, there's an opportunity to produce, or convert your pumps to become turbines and produce energy in that regard. So there are a lot of opportunities within the energy space, but most of the opportunities or challenges that need to be solved, they're in ensuring that young people play a role, in terms of also being players in producing energy for the country. So I think young people, you need to find solutions on how do we ensure that most of our young people, SMEs or startups, do play a contributing role in terms of producing energy. Is it an issue of funding that should be also be tackled? Is it an issue of an off-taker who's going to buy your energy or who's going to buy your biofuel? That also needs to be tackled. Is it an issue of where do you find your resource? Do we talk about food waste? Is it good for us to use food waste for producing energy, or are we supposed to be using it, for other purposes? Young people need to provide us with solutions in that regard. Then moving on, and lastly, focusing on food, which is the most important component of our life, that we can't live without food, but at the same time, we can't produce food if we do not have energy and we don't have water. So I would like to address the issue of food or the agricultural sector by looking at it from the start to the end. So when I say start, I like to look at the resources, as it was presented to us on Thursday, that, you need to ensure that, we have got adequate and enough resources to promote agriculture. Do we have enough water in the Eastern Cape for agriculture? No, we are currently under drought. So how do we address that? How do young people address, using the little water that is available within the province, to grow some crops or to contribute to the food industry? So we need to look into solutions over the weekend on how do we start to use water efficiently within the agricultural space. We know that across the country, agriculture consumes about 62% of our water. It's the largest consumer of our water. Now we need to find solutions that will ensure that the agricultural sector, does use water efficiently. So we are talking about smart irrigation, drip irrigation, they talked about your hydroponics, and so forth. And there's also an issue of land. Where do you find the land to produce, your food? You know that about the land issue and what is happening at the parliament at the moment. So we need to, not to worry about what politicians will decide, but let's find smart solutions, as young people, to say, we know that there's a constraint about availability of land, but with the little land that we have, we want to produce more food. So we are looking for solutions. They talked about vertical agriculture. So I heard. So those are the things that we are looking for, even your other solutions of ensuring that you produce more in a small space. There's also an issue of fertilizers. You need seeds, you need fertilizers, and so forth. Where do you get these without money as a young person? So we need to find solutions that will allow us to, tap into the availability of sustainable fertilizers. We don't want chemicals within our soil. We know the implications that we have in terms of introducing chemicals and metals to the soil. But can we as young people come up with organic fertilizers? Can we as young people use agro waste, to produce fertilizer? Can we as young people use fecal sludge, our own waste, human waste, from our toilets, to produce fertilizer from that and start to harness the circular economy? So we are looking for solutions in that regard. Can we as young people as well be able to farm crops, that are drought stricken, that are drought resistant, it's crops that, can grow even in dry conditions. Can we as young people go into the labs and engineer, new crops that can resist drought, that don't need much water to be grown within the province? So these are the things that we are looking forward to be achieving from young people. Can we as young people come up with technologies or, farming equipment, that is easy to access and that will allow us to begin, to be commercial farmers, or to be, producing at a high scale level of being able to sell and get money from that produce. So these are the kind of solutions that we're looking for to be, listening to by tomorrow, as young people step up and start to present to us that these are the solutions that have come up for the province. We know Eastern Cape is dependent on subsistence farming. We farm for our own families, and the little that is extra that we have, we then sell. So we are looking for those solutions that let our people be able to sustain themselves. Let's have solutions that will promote rural, peri-urban, and the urban context. Everyone is being catered for. So as you provide solutions, ensure that everyone in the value chain is catered for, beginning from our own grandmothers and grandfathers within the rural communities, coming to our urban communities, and even looking at the peri-urban, the plots, and so forth. So I think with that, program director, I don't want to take long. I know that I was supposed to speak, I think, until 1:45, but I think I can end here before I confuse people. I know I've said a lot, but I do hope that this makes sense when it comes to the problem statements that have been put forward, by our teams. And I would like to conclude then by looking at those that cut across the wall, three segments. The issue of funding young people is a big problem. Can young people come up with, solutions of accessing to funding, even without me handing over, a bankable project? As we know, we are young. You don't even have a house. You don't own anything, an asset that you can give to the bank and say, hey, if I don't pay, there is, my collateral. You can have my land, or you can have my house, or you can have my this. We don't have assets as young people. So what kind of financing, can you guys propose as young people? Are we happy, to look into, the way that people be paying you back? Are we happy to looking into, the number of cells that are protected for the next 5 to 10 years and use that as a way of saying, okay, that's collateral. We are guaranteed that you'll make money from the business. There is funding for you. Go start up a business. What kind of financing mechanisms do we propose? Because in all these opportunities that I've highlighted, there is a need for young people to access funding. If there's no funding, it's the end of the day, because that's more of a prerequisite. But some people might say that, there is an opportunity to start up something without needing much funding. We need those solutions. How do we get to start up a business without needing much funding? Are we looking into crowdfunding? Are we looking into grant funding? What kind of funding are we looking into? So we need ways of, generating funding, capital investment for these different kind of businesses. So if young people can sit down over the weekend and come up with funding solutions, to say, this is how we envisage young people being funded going forward. There is a model that can allow, collateral, or that can allow a bank or whosoever is the funded investor to be determined that, a young person or young business, a small business, can pay back the loan or that funding that is being given. So that's very, very, very important, to access that. And secondly, there's an issue of the market as well. That was highlighted by the energy team to say, you need a market. You can go grow your crops, you can go produce your energy, but how do we ensure that young people have got access to the market? Are there ways, or are there models that young people can come up with smart technology or smart ways of you being able to sell your produce to the world market, not only focusing on a local, provincial market, but world market? How do you do that? Are there smart solutions to that? Can we sell over the internet online and deliver our produce or our products? I do not know. But all I know is the fact that we need to look into how do we access the market as young people? How do we get to be able to get people that, do say we are happy to, to buy for the next 10 years. We know about the issues of quality. I know agricultural side, they've had complaints about young people. You can't provide to Woolworths, for example. I'm sorry to bring the name on, but they have a certain standard, you can't sell to so and so because some of those standards cannot be met by young people. But how do you ensure that you have access to those big markets? Or those highly developed or advanced markets as a young person, you can play with the big fish, So we need to see young people and small businesses, competing with the non-brands and competing with the general, non-commodities within the market. So that was one as well. So I think with those words, I would like to conclude by saying I'm really excited and I'm really, looking forward to young people providing us with solutions. I know that there are mentors that are capable. We've got experts in here that will really help you with all the questions that you might have. I know that some of the things that I've said, they might be gibberish to you today. You have never heard them. You have never come across them. But I'm happy to say, as Charlotte has indicated, that we have got mentors within this hackathon that will be able to unpack and explain some of the things that I've just delivered to you this morning. So I'd like to say to all the team, all the best. I believe in all of you, and I know that you are going to provide solutions for the country. As we approach 2030, we have got goals to achieve as a country. We would like to see reduction in unemployment. We like to see SMMEs playing a huge role in terms of pushing the GDP of the country and providing employment. We like to see our people receiving universal access to water and sanitation. We want to see our people being able to have energy across the country, even in the rural areas. We want to see our people using smartphones and so forth, smart agriculture and all things like that. So I believe that the people that are on this call today that have joined this hackathon will provide all those solutions. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Ashton. And yeah, everyone, we will share that document and the problem statements on Slack, so you can read it again. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Yes, Original Technologies. Please go ahead.
Hi, hello, Ms. Junior X team. We have a few questions. Our concern is on the number of teams, one, and that we have 2 hours to present. Am I audible enough?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, the number of teams, which is 31, and then the hours to present is only 2 hours, because it's 14:30 to 16:30. And then now each team is given 6 minutes to pitch, and then 4 minutes to answer to questions and answers, and provide answers. So that makes 10 minutes per team. And then now that makes 10 times 31, that makes 210 minutes. We divide that by 60, that makes 5 hours and something. So how, I don't see how is it practical that all these teams will be able to present. That's the number one question. And number two, I think it was said here in the Slack that if you want to go solo, like you want to be one person that in the team, you need to have experience, but it was not like explained well. What experience on hackathons or experience just as an individual, like your in the discipline? That's the second question. The third question is I've got some concern on the resources channel, where I've experienced on the previous hacks that people come with existing solutions, which now makes for other teams difficult to compete with them, because now they come with the ready-made solutions. And then now other teams, they are working on this 30 hours to develop something, working on this on the resources, and like also now with the times allocated. So now you find it difficult to compete with those kind of teams. Also myself, like, or not myself, us as Junior X team, we see a hackathon. Yes, we are competing with each other, but we're trying to come up to, we want to achieve a unique one goal. So for this, that now some people come with some solutions, and then like for them it's competition. Yes, it's competition. Yeah, it's fine, but we have one goal here to come up with solutions to help against the water crisis, food, and energy. So it will, we as Junior X would appreciate if we'll have the common goal, and then now we work on the certain rules and regulations, because now that will be fair enough for everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your question. In terms of teams, there usually is a little bit of drop-off during the course of a hackathon. So usually the number of teams will reduce during the weekend. but we will keep an eye on it. And thanks for flagging that. I think is Tiani able to answer the second part of the question? Yeah, thanks, Tiani. Please go ahead. Thanks, Tiani. I hope that addressed your concerns, Junior X. Yeah, you can reach out to us on Slack if you've got any other follow-ups. Does anyone else have any questions for either the organizers or for Ashton? Yeah, sure. Junior X, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you again. I see there's a resources channel, but there's only I think a PDF there. Can we have more resources on that channel, please? Thank you.
Thanks, Tiani. Yeah, so the document Ashton presented will be up there along with problem statements, and as Tiani said, it'll be populated as we go along. Any other questions? Okay, in that case, oh, sorry. Junior X.
Okay, thank you again. One more last question.
Sure.
Will it be waste of time maybe if let's say we as a team, also other teams, we record a presentation video in case maybe when there's time to present, maybe we are hit by load shedding. So we prefer to just send that video through. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome to do that.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for the question. Okay, okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to hand back over to Mr. Lucky Litole to officially open.
Thank you very much, colleagues. I can feel the excitement there. All that I can say really on behalf of all our partners, our stakeholders, and everyone who's actually behind this great initiative is that I want to officially declare the 2021 AquaTech Hack are officially opened, and all the best to the teams, and we're looking forward to seeing the solutions. Thank you very much.
Good luck, everyone, and see you over on Slack.